live, I think.
Oh, what's up, everybody? And welcome back to the BallGame podcast. I am the innocent bystander, Matt Sullivan.
I'm Tom.
I'm Chris.
I say welcome back, but welcome in to the new setup of BallGame. Obviously, we have a lot of things that we're going to be changing about this. It's fluid. A lot of things are going to be switched up. This window's probably going to be covered up. We're probably going to have some stuff behind us. I'm going to move that shelf all the way over there. That's not staying there either. But, yeah, now we're on a couch. So things are a little different.
The casting couch.
The
BallGame casting
couch. Tom is going to get what's
My
that
mom's
word?
watching this. Be careful.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Tom is going to have a great time today. He's going to have a bunch of fun. But, yeah, so, well, welcome back to BallGame, obviously, and then welcome back to the NBA season as well. Obviously, NBA basketball has been kicking off a bunch of preseason games recently, and I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't watched any of the NBA preseason to this point. I will be into it, obviously, when the season starts, but I haven't been watching the NBA preseason at all.
I'll start with this, though, because we're doing the Eastern Conference preview. Did you see any highlights, at least, of Victor last night? Did anyone see what Victor did? Bro,
I actually didn't, but
they
I saw
played
his
the
stat
Heat
line.
in preseason. It wasn't normal, bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't normal. He brought up the ball, passed it to Trey Jones on the wing, and did the old give and go, like at the three-point line. And the second he got to the three-point line, that motherfucker pointed up for the lob, and that motherfucker Trey Jones threw it while he was at the three-point line.
Oh, my God.
And he went there and caught it. Like, it wasn't like a crazy but like, he threw it when he was at the three-point line. He was bringing the ball up, hitting post fades, handles. Like, he was. It's
so
not
he
normal.
looked as good as that.
He's gonna be
Yeah,
insane.
advertised.
He's gonna be insane.
I saw him and Chet going at it. I did see those
I
highlights.
saw those highlights as
They
well.
were literally going shot
Chet
for shot.
looks
from
great,
three. It's
too.
crazy. Chet does look good.
Chet looks really
No,
good,
it's
too.
really not normal though. I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like it.
This is the next
Like,
evolution.
And
of
like
NBA
we've
basketball.
all scouted Victor, I feel like, and seen what he did before he got to the NBA, but this was just different. Like, after watching a lot of him, like scouting him and stuff, he wasn't doing. I don't know if it just felt different because it was on an NBA court, but it was just. It looked like he was playing more free
I was
than
about
he
to
was
say,
playing
it's actually
over
that
there.
it's probably that he had more freedom.
Yeah.
Like being in the NBA, you just have more freedom than you do playing in for an overseas team.
Isn't that what he said after the summer league game? Like his first ever
Yeah.
NBA
Well,
game.
summer league
Everyone
games,
was like hating on him, and he was like, "I just got to get used to I just got to get comfortable." And
Summer league games are pretty much just a fucking pickup basketball game.
yeah.
Like that's what that is. You don't have enough time to install anything or anything like that. But
No, it really wasn't normal though. It was kind of shocking to watch.
I'm so happy, man. Like the NBA is in such great hands. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a crazy, crazy NBA season. I'm actually very much looking forward to it. I feel like a lot of the NBA is wide open right now. I feel like we could consider a bunch of teams title contenders if I'm being entirely honest, but there's probably a few that separate from the rest of the pack. But I would say there's a bunch of teams that you could say are the primary title contenders right now. All right, so. Today, we're going to go through the over-unders for the Eastern Conference. We're going to be talking about a bunch of teams in the East. We're going to be giving you hot takes for the Eastern Conference specifically and a few breakout players from the Eastern Conference as well. So, without further ado, why not jump into it? We're going to go by the over-under win totals of FanDuel. And we're going to say, obviously, whether we think they're going to go over or whether we think they're going to go under. It's pretty self-explanatory.
how over under works.
That is indeed
In
how
case you
they
didn't
work.
know, now you know.
So,
Use code BallGame Thrive Fantasy for over unders. There you go.
facts. If you want to, make props on the NBA season, definitely
I'm gonna do that every time we mention.
Yeah, Thrive for the NBA is gonna get crazy.
every
I think
day.
we're gonna do a different scoring system too for ball game bets
Yes, we will. We will figure that out.
for the basketball. Yeah,
We'll
it's gonna
figure
get
that one
crazy, man.
It is going to be fun. Real fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll go in alphabetical order. So this could
Thank God I'm not
this
this
could
cool.
jump all over the place. We'll start off with the Atlanta Hawks, who have an over/under win total of 41.5.
I'm smashing it. I'm hitting it real hard. I'm taking the over. I already actually have a future about this. I have like $100 on it. Just this straight
They're
bet.
over/under.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as the lines dropped, as soon as the schedule dropped and shit, I put that bet. The Hawks looked good at the end of last year, and I think it's easy to forget because it was only the first round, but I mean, Trae Young and the Hawks gave the Celtics a run for their money last year in the playoffs. And I was telling Tom as I walked in here, I had a long talk with my uncle last night, specifically about Trae Young. And Trae Young's my guy. I'll ride for Trae Young until the day I die, but he obviously has his shortcomings, and he could single-handedly shoot you out of a game. Like, that's known.
True.
But what he brings as a playmaker is unmatched. And, I mean, if Quinn Snyder just uses him a little bit off the ball, like, it changes the entire outlook for Trae Young, I feel like. I feel like he could really be a legit off-ball weapon if he's just used like that. And I think another year with DeJounte is going to help that. I think Jalen Johnson hopefully taking a step and being kind of like a tertiary creator and playmaker, the third guy. Onyeka should be better and improving. Clint Capella is always solid.
Yep.
Sadiq Bey is going to be there.
They have wings now.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. They have Sadiq. They have DeAndre Hunter. AJ Griffin is another guy that I think is going to have a big-time season for them. I think, yes, getting integrated to the whole Quinn Snyder system, especially with the two guards, as talented as they are, is huge for them. Yes, I'm taking the over for this team. And I don't know how we're going to format saying these hot takes, but I do have a hot take on the Atlanta Hawks. If I might as well throw it out there now.
I have one as well. So we could. I mean, if we want to do that when we get to the team, we throw out the hot take. I'm cool with that.
We could do
that setup.
I feel like we could do that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, Tom, you want to give your quick thoughts on the Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, the Hawks. I'm smashing the over too. 41.5 is just such a low number of wins.
It's just 500.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think Trae Young. My biggest complaint with him was obviously everyone has their gripes about him on defense, but I feel like you do see him standing around a lot when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, and I think he needs to, that's on coaching, that's on him for sure. They need to figure out, like you said, how to integrate him more in that respect. But yeah, Sadiq Bey, Jalen Johnson, and I was telling you about this when we were talking. I was looking up his relationship with the front office because a lot of people call him a coach killer and all that, and everything I saw was just it's just totally not true. It's greatly over exaggerated, at least with Quinn Snyder now. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. So, yeah, I'm smashing the over on the Hawks.
Trae Young went to the James Harden School of Off-Ball Movement. That's what he did.
Yeah.
So he just stands far away
he does.
behind the three-point line and does nothing. But, all right, my Atlanta Hawks hot take. I actually said that the Hawks will take the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference this coming season. I said this is the year that the Hawks actually put it all together. They take the 3 seed in the East.
I had something similar. I had them as the 4 seed in the East, and Trae Young, as crazy as it sounds, first team All-NBA. Beats out Luka.
Wow.
Beats out Steph. Beats out everyone. He's the best guard in the NBA this season.
Whoa.
I think Quinn Snyder is going to unlock a version of Trae Young that we haven't seen yet. And I think
guard in the league. Wow.
I think they're really building momentum. It was versus Celtics. It only went 6 games, but the whole end of the season, their offense was top 5 once Quinn Snyder got there. They're going to be able to put up points. And, I mean, I know Trae Young's a liability on defense, but this is what we've been asking for, right? You got to surround him with bigs that could rebound and block shots, and then wings that could guard multiple positions.
Yes.
And that's what they have. So this is, in my opinion, this is Trae Young's best chance to win.
Agreed.
Yeah.
In his career so far. I think it's the best the roster has looked.
I don't know if this lends to them being successful in the playoffs for sure, because I think obviously you're going to run into 2 pretty much juggernauts in the Eastern Conference, and I don't think any team realistically could beat those 2 in a 7-game series right now. But the Hawks gave the Celtics trouble, as you said, but now it's a little different. You obviously add Drew Holiday to that team, but I do think that this is a team that they're going to cement themselves as the 3rd best team in the Eastern Conference in a wide open Eastern Conference after that top 2. So,
yeah, and I said this when you guys had me on the podcast last. Quinn Snyder has dealt with Donovan Mitchell, an offensive juggernaut, before, so and they had a bunch of wings on that team too, and not really.
They always put up a top 5.
Exactly, they were always
offense.
one of the best offenses in the league, and they were a pretty good defense too in the regular
because
season.
of Rudy.
Yeah. Got to see how that translates to the playoffs. But yeah, they can 41.5 is crazy.
But that was the thing with that team too. There was one guy that they relied on for offense and one guy that they relied on for defense. Like this team is okay. We have a bunch of 3-point shooters, but we can also rely on DeJounte Murray if Trae Young's not having a good night. Maybe we could rely on DeAndre Hunter here and there, Sadiq Bey here and there. Like these are guys that can all defend too. Like we're not having to worry about a perimeter defense where we're just funneling everything into one guy because we have a bunch of guys that can defend now. So I think this is Quinn Snyder's best team also, even though that Utah Jazz team, or most well-rounded, I should say, even though those Jazz teams won 60 games, I think this is the most well-rounded team he's had to this point as well.
Yeah,
so
that's fair to say.
All right, next up, speaking of one of those juggernauts, the Boston Celtics have an over-under win total of 54.5. What do we got?
I mean, I'm going over. They won 57 last year. Seems pretty straightforward. KP, Holiday, and I've heard reports that Jaylen Brown is really working on his left hand and his dribbling.
I would hope so.
Like, I mean,
Man, leave Jaylen Brown.
that's
alone,
more like no. That's more like nitpicking that in particular. But like at the end of the day, they got KP, they got Holiday. They lost Marcus Smart, but as far as a replacement for him, you really can't do better than Drew Holiday.
I think having Drew Holiday makes the Jaylen Brown stuff almost go away a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Jaylen Brown and Tatum, too. I mean, I've been saying it for years. They were tasked with too much playmaking and too much responsibility with the ball in their hands. And Drew Holiday is pretty much a Marcus Smart on crack.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Who doesn't make as many dumb decisions. I will say sometimes Drew Holiday could have questionable shot selection.
He definitely does.
But it's not Marcus Smart levels. So I think Drew's just going to keep those guys in check, honestly. And I expect both of them to have really big years, Tatum and Brown. I mean, Tatum's going to be an MVP candidate, like a legit MVP candidate. They're going to win so many games. My only gripe with the Celtics, I'm going to take the over too. My only gripe with the Celtics is if someone does get hurt and miss extended time in the regular season, it could be rough. I love the Jordan Walsh. Jordan Walsh is going to be able to contribute to that team immediately. Maybe he's probably not going to be in the playoff rotation, but as a guy to soak up minutes during the regular season, give their guys a breather here and there, yeah, Jordan Walsh is going to be good for them. But I think it's an easy over.
I do actually like some of the players. I just smacked myself in the face with my mic. Problems of holding this thing.
Hope they heard that.
I do actually think they made some under-the-radar additions this offseason, though. I mean, now Sam Hauser, not an addition, but he's going to be getting more minutes, and he was quality for them when he was called upon last season. They added O'Shea Brissett. They added Delano Banton. They added Lamar Stevens is another guy that, like, these are guys that could fill in some minutes. Are they great players? No, but they're going to be able to fill in some minutes and contribute in roles specific to them. I was tempted to say the under here just because they rely so heavily on 6, 7-ish guys. But that 6, 7 guys is arguably the best top 7, top 6 in the entire NBA. So I say the over for 54.5. And I also say that one of the guys that I wanted to mention, I didn't actually list him as a breakout player, but I think this could be the season that we finally see Peyton Pritchard, like, actually showing out.
I mean, they gave him a bag.
So
they gave him a bag.
Exactly.
So they have to have some type of plan for him.
He's their third guard, pretty much. Behind Derek White, Drew Holiday, it's Peyton Pritchard now. And they've been so reluctant to trade the guy that I'm assuming they have to have big plans for him this season as a sixth man or like the spark plug off the bench. So I'm expecting Peyton Pritchard to have a big season. He was a hooper at Oregon, might I add. That boy was a hooper with Bull back in those days. But yeah, that's really all you got to say about the Celtics. They're one of the top 3 teams in the NBA, you could say right now. Pretty clear cut. And would you guys say the favorite or no?
I'm not gonna say the favorite.
Man, it's so close with them and the Bucks. I don't know. I change my mind every day.
Yeah, you could go either.
I don't know. I mean, they might just be co-favorites with the Bucks. They might have a 50-50 chance.
That's fair to say.
Okay. Yeah, I could say that. That's fair.
Maybe a 45-45 chance, and then the rest of the Eastern Conference has a 10% chance.
Pretty much, yeah.
That might honestly be what it's like.
I don't know.
That's crazy. I don't even know if it's a 10% chance, to be honest.
If
That's
it's
how good
10%,
this
the
team
Hawks
is.
have an 8%. Like
Yeah.
that's literally what it
The
is.
Hawks have like a 7, and then it's like the Knicks for 1 and the
Yeah,
Heat
yeah.
for like 2. And that's about it. That's everybody. But all right. We'll move on to the next team. This is an intriguing team as well. So the Brooklyn Nets over/under win total is set at 37.5. What do we think?
The Nets, it's tough. I like the Nets. Bridges obviously had an awesome season once he got there. Cam Johnson's my guy. They have pieces. They have Nick Claxton, who played at an all-defensive level.
Royce, Dorian.
Yeah, I mean,
some guys, glue guys.
the
Spencer
X
Dinwiddie's still there?
factor is just Ben Simmons.
Yep, there it is.
Like Spencer Dinwiddie, even when he got there, he was playmaking at an elite level. I think he averaged like 8.5 assists once he got to
You
Brooklyn.
know what you get from Spencer Dinwiddie?
Yeah.
He's gonna have hot nights and
Some really bad nights.
some really bad,
Yeah.
really questionable nights. Yeah.
So I guess the X factor is Ben Simmons. It's really so hard to tell what type of role he's going to play.
I also think Cam Thomas. We need to see more of Cam Thomas in that rotation.
For sure.
He's a bucket. You need to at least give him a shot some nights because he could shoot you into a game and out of a game. Like, it's that simple.
That's what I was
some nights.
thinking. You need to like scheme him more rather than just give him the ball and let him go to work. Like it'll be more helpful for him to run some plays for him and stuff like that.
He's such a good scorer.
Yeah, get him some easy
I'll be over or
buckets.
under. I don't think you ever made an official selection.
37.5.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to say they win 37 on the dot.
I'm going to take the over. I don't think 37.5 is crazy. I feel like I'm going to take the over for every fucking team, and
That's what I found myself
Well,
doing. In this.
yeah,
I
that's why
eventually
the
at one
lines
point-
are what they
yeah,
are.
Yeah, exactly. I was literally like, I got to start taking some unders. Like,
So I think I'm going to take the Nets over, and I actually had a hot take about the Nets as well. I said Mikal Bridges and Ben Simmons lead the Nets to a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. Of course, I am betting that means that Ben Simmons returns all the way to Ben Simmons form.
didn't you make that like same?
Oh,
take
I made
last
a
season?
crazy
Yeah,
hot
right?
take last season where I said Ben Simmons will average a triple-double.
Yeah, I mean,
And
double
I'm
down.
not saying that this time. So go out and prove it to me, Ben. Please.
I took the under too. I looked it up. They went 13-15 after the deadline, which like isn't a crazy sample size, and it puts them right pretty close to 500, but just under, which is right where the line's at. One thing I could see happening is maybe they get off to a rough start and trade out guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and role
That's a
players
good
and stuff
point.
like that, and then lose some games. So I considered that. But yeah, you just gotta develop Mikal. I think Cam's gonna have a big year though. I like Cam Johnson on that team.
Yeah, I mean, Mikal Bridges is the truth, bro.
He is.
No,
I
he's
went
a
and
real
saw
deal.
that dude live. Like, I went to one of their games, and that motherfucker dropped 44. Like, nah, he's legit.
He's like that.
He could ball.
Yeah.
Mikal is for real. Cam Johnson is definitely for real. He's a hooper. Yeah, this is a tough one. This is definitely a tough one for me. But
They're a fun team for sure.
No, yeah.
they are.
I'm gonna enjoy watching them, but
The Nets always are. It seems like they're always,
Do you
past few
potentially,
years.
like you just said, obviously trading? Do you potentially foresee a world where Mikal's hooping, the Nets aren't playing well, and Mikal's like the hottest piece of the trade deadline for a contending team?
I think they'd have to be like really bad for them to trade Mikal.
yeah, and it also seems like he wants to be there.
Right.
He does. He does seem like he wants. To
I
be
feel like he's vibing with having a team where pretty much he's the first option,
Unless he wants to go.
and
play
he's
with his Nova
balling while
boys.
doing it.
He is doing it efficiently and well. Yeah.
Yeah.
At that. All right, but moving forward, go to the next team. I think this might be a team that we potentially taken under. The Charlotte Hornets. Over/under win total is 31.5.
Man, the Hornets are tough because if you told me this a week ago, I probably would have said hammer the over. They went to 2 straight playing games in LaMelo's rookie and sophomore year. Last year, he spent the majority of the year hurt. If he's healthy, they could easily do it. But then they released Kai Jones, and now there's more drama with Miles Bridges. It's just
Man.
there's so much drama around this team, and it shouldn't be like that because they haven't won anything. They haven't done shit. So, man, it's tough because I like a lot of their players too. I love Terry Rozier. That's my guy. They have a competent roster. Like, I don't think they have a roster that's bottom of the barrel, but over the last few years, they've dealt with a lot of injuries and they've dealt with a lot of other like outside stuff. So, with that being said, I think I'm still going to take the over. It's 31.5. I think
Yep,
they could get to
31.5.
32, 33.
So
I like Brandon Miller. He's cool, I guess.
I feel like this could be so wrong when I say this, but I'm taking the under. Again, it just seems like there's a cloud hanging over this team. I'm not going to say the cloud's name, but clown, either way. But I love LaMelo. Can he stay healthy? I love Mark Williams, and I think it's entirely possible that this team's overseeds expectations, and Mark Williams is potentially in the running for even Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I think Mark Williams is that good of a talent. But I don't personally see it. I don't think this is a good roster outside of LaMelo. I think in a couple years they can be, but no, I'm taking the under as of right now.
I took the over. LaMelo played 36 games last year. And if Brandon Miller is as good as we think he is, especially right out of the gate, Mark Williams takes that leap. They drafted Nick Smith too. He probably isn't going to be that effective right away, but they'll work him in there. Like you said, Terry Rozier. It's just like it's such a low number, and it isn't.
They
Like
still have Gordon Hayward too.
I was about to say maybe it's a
Forgot
time
about that.
too where the Hornets just bottom out though, and
Yeah.
trade everything.
They
They've
gotta
had
trade
these
Gordon.
assets for a minute.
They got to trade.
If LaMelo
Gordon,
gets hurt
bro.
again, it's easy under. But
Yeah,
I think it really depends on how many games.
like Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier just got to go. Like, why are they
Yeah,
even there?
yeah.
Why are they even on the team anymore? I don't like that. I think it's pointless that Gordon Hayward is there. I think it's pointless that Terry Rozier is there. I think they both belong on contenders. Like, I really do. I think they're both capable of contributing to winning basketball still. If Gordon Hayward can only stay healthy, obviously we'd be, I think this would be a much better team, but I'm not banking on Gordon Hayward ever being healthy again. I think a team is going to be willing to pay up a protected first-round pick for Gordon Hayward, and I think you'd be crazy not to take that personally. But yeah, I don't think this is a good roster. I'm taking the under. So, all right, Chris, your squad up next. Over under 37.5 wins, the Chicago Bulls.
Man, the Bulls. I'm gonna take the over. I actually liked what the Bulls did this offseason because it felt like they somewhat picked what direction they want to go. I think it was the most aggressive they've been in free. Actually, no. That was a lie
Javon
because they
Carter.
signed DeRozan in free agency.
You got
so-
Javon, and you got
But since we
Corey
signed,
Craig, right?
since we signed DeMar, I think it's the most aggressive they've been in free agency. The new front office. I love Javon.
me too.
Think Javon, plug him in right away. He'll run your offense for you. He'll shoot the three at an efficient clip, and he'll give you above average level defense. Probably better than that. That's probably
Far
slight.
better
Yeah,
than
yeah.
yeah.
him and Caruso.
I think Levine turned up at the end of last year once he started to get healthy. And I think Zach Levine's that guy. I think DeMar DeRozan has no problem taking a back seat to Zach Levine. He just wasn't able to do it these years because Zach Levine's been dealing with injuries. And DeMar was playing at an otherworldly level 2 years ago.
Right.
That just, you're not going to take a back seat when you're playing like that. But I think Zach Levine's fully capable of being the number one option on a playoff team. I thought we got it going at the end of last year, and a lot of that was with Patrick Beverley. But hopefully Javon could just take those minutes and be even better with them. Caruso is obviously always going to be solid. Kobe White was so quietly really fucking good last year. I think he builds off that. I don't know. I think it's a good roster. Honestly, I think there was no reason we missed the playoffs last year. I thought it was just embarrassing that we missed the playoffs.
It was
But we should have a bounce back year.
37.5.
I think the Bulls could get to 500. I'm going to take the over.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you covered everything almost. I think that adding Javon Carter and Torrey Craig are very under-the-radar moves that are going to help you guys a ton. Carter and Alex Caruso are both capable of being first-team defenders. Like, that's how good they are in terms of backcourt defense. I will take the over because I think the talent on this team is too good. You can't have Vucevic, Zach, and DeMar and be under 37.5 wins. Like, I'm sorry. If that's the case, y'all have really fucked up, something went wrong, or you traded both of them, or all three of them in that case. I think the other thing, and I feel like we say this every season, and is Patrick Williams going to take the next step? And I feel like it's no. Like, is it a no from here on out? Like, I just want to see it. I want to see Patrick Williams be that clear-cut fourth best player, and on a bunch of nights be like the third or second best player. Like, I want to see that. I need to see that version of him. That's what I was. As a Knicks fan, I wanted Patrick Williams a while back. During that draft.
I didn't want Patrick Williams.
No, I know.
I wanted Denny Avila so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted that motherfucker so bad. I was pissed we didn't draft Denny.
I was happy when we took Obi, but I wanted Tyrese.
I like Patrick Williams too. That's my guy. I think he's good. I think he's a really good player. Even if he doesn't develop into what
he's
people
already a good player,
expected him to be, yeah, he's a solid role player at bare minimum.
Yeah, he's a good 3-and-D guy already. Like, that's that. But yeah, unfortunately we got Obi and he ain't even on the team anymore.
True. Yeah.
What do you think?
I took the under. I know it's 37.5, which again is not a lot of games. I think at some point they're gonna have to blow it up, and I just am on the opposite spectrum of you guys. I see it happening sooner rather than later. That's just me personally.
But if they win games this year, why would they blow it up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
you think they're gonna start off bad, and they're gonna blow it up?
I mean,
but so I asked this, like, do they accept being 500? Like, that's the thing.
The Bulls, I think these motherfuckers just want to make the playoffs.
yeah.
It seems like that. It's clear as day that this isn't a championship team, and they've kept the same guys around.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
I think this is probably their last ride, but I don't think they're gonna blow it up in the middle of the season.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I do agree that this is the, like you said, most aggressive they've been post DeMar. That's my biggest thing about the Bulls last year, was that they just needed to pick which way they wanted to go.
Yeah.
And it does seem like they picked that they want to go towards a playoff team. I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like I said, I think this is going to be the last ride, honestly, no matter what. I think someone's going to be gone between those three guys. But I think the team is going to be too good that the ownership and the general manager aren't going to want to take away a playoff berth potentially from the fans.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And then tank mid-season. The team's like on pace to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to blow it up. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for the Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan Last Dance documentary. It's going to feed families. It's going to feed families. All right, next up, here we go. Cleveland Cavaliers have an over-under win total of 50.5. I'm going to start off and say I think, oh, man, they added a lot of shooting this offseason.
It's tough. They really went crazy on these lines over FanDuel.
Yeah.
50.5 is a lot.
50.5 is a lot of wins.
I say they win 49 games this season. I take the under. Just because I think, yes, they added shooting, but I don't see them as the top two. And I think there will be two teams that win more than 50 games in the East, and the rest will be like that. Maybe they hit the 50 mark.
They hit it last year, right?
They did.
51,
They did.
I think,
Crazy enough, yeah, they did. But I think they take a slight step back this year. Even though I think Evan Mobley could get better. Darius Garland could get better.
I'm going to take the over because of that. There's no reason this team shouldn't be better next year. Garland should keep getting better, like you said.
They added Strus. They added George Niang.
Right.
Mobley should keep getting better. Donovan Mitchell is Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's a star. Jared Allen's always going to be rock solid.
I have to take some unders.
Unless Julius Randle goes against him,
Yeah.
then he's going to get babied.
Yeah, they both get baby. Mitchell Robinson is their kryptonite.
Yep, for sure.
It's tough.
I'm going to take the over. I think they get it. I don't think they're in that tier, obviously, with the Bucks and Celtics, but I think they get 50.
Chris, have you taken an under?
I did.
The Nets?
Yeah. I'm also going to take the under.
Let's go.
I would go right around what you said, like 48, 49 wins. It's just 50 was a lot. And if Mobley can develop a jumper and stretch their offense a little bit, I mean, I know they got Strus and Yang for that, but if Mobley can do that, that'll just take them to another level regardless of those pickups. Same thing with Okoro, but I feel like that gets said every year, and he just can't shoot.
All he's got to do is just shoot
corner threes.
bro.
That's it. We're not even asking, to
don't do
be
anything
Klay Thompson.
else.
Like, you
Play
just got to sit in the
defense
corner.
and shoot corner threes,
exactly.
bro.
Yeah, it's pretty much all I have here. And also, like, I know their defense at the rim is really good, but if you have Garland, Mitchell, and Strus out there,
Strus is a good team defender.
Yeah.
Strus is a good team defender. But
On the Miami
Garland
Heat,
and
though.
Mitchell, no, he was solid.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, when you have rim protectors like that behind you,
having those two big
That's
men
true,
down there
right.
kind of covers a
it makes
lot
perimeter
of.
defense a hell of a lot easier for you.
Right.
'Cause
I
you
mean,
get to
weren't
play
they the
more
best
aggressive.
defense in the NBA
Second
last
best.
Pretty
year?
sure they were the
Second
second
best,
best
yeah.
defense in the NBA. But in the playoffs, I mean, look, their defense was solid, but their offense ended up being what killed them.
Yeah.
They can't space the floor. Even with as long as you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen together, the spacing will be an issue. It doesn't matter if Evan Mobley jumps to like a 34% three-point shooter this year. The spacing will be an issue because people are just not going to respect his jumper. Mobley is, I think, more than capable of being a guy that's going to average 18 to 20, if not a little bit more this season. I do think that's entirely possible. But even then, it's just modern-day NBA. You just can't have it. Mobley needs to be shooting something close to 37% for me to feel some type of way about him and the spacing for this team. So I take a slight under for this Cleveland Cavaliers team. All right. Next up, another one of Chris's teams, the Detroit Pistons. Over-under win total of 27.5. Wow, that's low.
I'm gonna take the under. I just don't.
Whoa.
I just don't think they could do it. I think they can win 27. I think they can improve 10 games. I just think it's rough out there.
28th one. Just can't get it.
I just think it's rough out there, and I think they got a lot better. I just think it's going to be so hard for them to win games. You know what? Nah, I'm going to take the over. Fuck it. I'm going to take
He forgot he was a Cade stan.
I'm going to take the... I am a Cade stan. I love Cade. I love Jaden Ivey. Those are my fucking
Durant.
guys.
I couldn't believe you said under.
Yeah.
It's so tough, bro.
27.5, though. If you're going to take an over, you know what I mean? It's going to be on 27.
Yeah, I mean, Monty should play a really big role, too, with
Right.
those guys. Asar should be
Bojan.
impactful right away. Bojan's obviously a 20-point scorer. Maybe declines a little bit, but the efficiency will still be there.
If he's 16, 17.
Yeah, he's one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA,
You
so
expect an Ivy jump.
I do expect an Ivy jump.
Durant should be as good, if not better.
That's actually one of my hot takes, that Jaden Ivey's the most improved player. I know that second-year players aren't typically supposed to get that,
Right.
but I think Jaden Ivey's a superstar, man. I've been saying that. I think Jaden Ivey has superstar potential. I think he'd be right up there with the best off-ball guards in the game, honestly.
And you picked the under originally.
No, but I'm taking the
Okay.
over.
I was going to say, they
was
win
gonna
26
say,
games, and he
just
wins
a hell of a
most
lot of
improved
shit
player.
about this
Bro, I
Pistons
love
team.
them. I love them. But
Um,
a lot of it for the Pistons is you just want to see internal growth,
Right.
whether that means winning games or not. But, you just want to see player development, honestly. They have such a young team. Just might not be their time to win 27 and a half games.
I took the over. I was looking at it. At first, I was like, yeah, I'm hammering the over. And then I looked up the standings. I was like, Jesus Christ, they won 17 games last year. I was like, that is... Yeah, Cade was out pretty much the whole year. So that's what I have in there. But I think they could get into a groove, like you said. I like Ivy. I like Durant. That's what happened to me. I started thinking about the pieces that they have, and I was just like, I like all these guys. I can't... I got to pick them to win.
I mean, even picked up Monte Morris in free agency.
Right.
You got Joe Harris. You got
Still
some
have Alec
spacing.
Burks spacing.
Yeah, I mean, you surrounded Cade with some spacing, some
Joe
defense.
Killian Hayes.
Killian's
Yeah,
looked
he's a
good
guy.
in the preseason.
Killian's always look good when you're not
When he doesn't
supposed
need to, yeah.
When you don't have to look good, and then looks bad when you have to look
Right.
good. So Isaiah Stewart, still another guy there. Forget about him.
beefs.
The LeBron
Dude.
stopper.
Asar Thompson, the rookie. Yeah, I'm I'm gonna take the over. 27.5 isn't a lot. I actually like the roster if Cade could stay healthy, and I think Ivy takes a jump. So I think an over 27.5. As you said, if there's any team you take overs on, it's the,
You saw a ghost.
it's the ones that have the low
Right.
totals. So all right, here we go. Next up, we have the Indiana Pacers with an over/under win total of 38.5.
Feels like a trap.
It does.
yeah.
It really does.
I'll took the over. They won 35 games last year. They brought in Bruce Brown. They're getting a second year of Ben Mathurin, Jarris Walker, Andrew Nembhard. Those guys can all take steps up. They signed Obi Toppin, which I think fit-wise is
So good for them.
yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I think it seems like an easy over, you know?
It really does seem like an easy over. I'm going to take the over.
I need some damn unders. Fuck.
I think they win at least 39.
Right? Like
Well,
yeah.
all right. So I love the Obi Toppin edition. I think Buddy Hield gets traded. I think that's a foregone conclusion. I think Buddy's going to get traded at some point.
Put that man in the playoffs, please,
Yeah.
God.
And I think he might end up being in the playoffs.
Like, please.
If he stays with this team. You know, you mentioned a name, Andrew Nembhard. That's a guy that I actually have as one of my breakout players. I think Andrew Nembhard has a big-time season. I was going to pick Ben Mathurin as we lower this camera.
Are we doing breakout players as we go? Like we
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
yeah,
just listing it as
All
we
right.
go.
I actually have 2 Pacers as my breakout players. Quality camera work right here.
Phenomenal. Who do you
I have Obi and I have Jarris Walker. I like Jarris Walker a lot. I was
So as a
actually watching-
rookie, you think he's going to be really good?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be not like we said before. I don't think he's gonna be like all-star. You know, nothing like that.
If that looks better.
What do you say?
What would we do without O'Sleazy? You know.
Does it look better?
What do you say?
But yeah, I picked Andrew Nembhard as one of my breakouts. I think he was phenomenal last season, both offensively and defensively. His efficiency was there. He was under the radar, one of the better defensive guards in the entirety of the league. I don't think there's many holes in his game, and I think he's like the perfect third guard for this team because I do think Ben Mathurin will also be having a step up this season, or at least I should expect that. The efficiency was bad last season as a rookie that I have to only expect it to get better.
Most rookies.
Exactly.
are
So
efficient,
I expect a big jump from him. And yeah, Miles Turner, obviously still there. I think Buddy Hield gets traded, as I said. I'm going to take, I think they win 41 games, so I'll take the over. I kind of have, you're right, Tom. It's a trap. They're not going
right?
to get the over. But,
And Bruce Brown.
oh my God, yeah.
They signed Bruce Brown.
They
like
added
Bruce
the best-
Brown alone got to
the
get
best
you 3 more
role player,
wins, right?
The best role player in the NBA
Brucey
by
B?
himself. Yes.
Oh, so what I had about Jarris Walker was I was watching like his highlights of Owen. He can really put the ball on the floor.
Yes.
Like really well. And he's 6'8", 235. He's solid.
Big boy.
Like that for a rookie, he's got a great frame.
He's got
And he
that.
seems like on defense,
body.
he's got that bod. He seems like on defense, he's got great anticipation. Like he knows when to reach, he knows when to jump to block a shot. You know.
He got that beef stew build,
Yeah, man.
but he don't play like beef stew.
No.
he
he does
nah,
not.
he knows better.
He
than
plays
try to
like
beat up
Draymond.
LeBron.
If I'm comparing him to someone, I do think he plays like Draymond. He shot pretty decently in
He had
college,
some
but it was
good
on low
shots.
volume.
I forget who they played the other night, but he hit a crazy like N1-3. He looked like Klay Thompson. It was he literally got it off the dribble, just chucked it up. He
So
looked
Jarris
like me
Walker's
out
just
there, bro.
Bound to be the greatest player of all time.
Pretty
I guess.
much. And then I had Obi Toppin too. He started 15 games in his career. He's averaged, which most of them were like at the end of the season, but still, he's averaged 20.8 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 3 assists, and shot 44% from 3, which must be why Thibodeau just had him stand in the corner for the entirety of the Knicks playoff run. So
Bro,
he's and if like him next to Tyrese, it's a great situation for Obi. I feel like, again, not an all-star or anything, but just a really good role player I think we're going to be looking at.
he'll be a phenomenal bench player who just catches a bunch of lobs from Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, he's going to put up highlights, and they're
So-
going to be a fun team to watch.
I don't think he starts for this team. I think, honestly, I don't even know who does start at power forward.
That's what I was looking
It might
at. Who
honestly
does
be
start at that
Jarris
for?
Walker.
Yeah.
It could be Obi Toppin. But yeah, I think you want the defensive versatility of Jarris
Yeah.
next to Miles Turner, who could stretch the four and stuff. So,
Right.
but yeah, I think over on that team. But all right, this is a depressing one. I don't know who to pick for this. I mean, I don't know what to pick for this. So the Miami Heat were bound to get Damian Lillard this offseason, and it didn't
Were they?
happen. They were. It was destiny. It was destiny. Dame and Jimmy Butler flirting over Instagram.
They never had the right assets, but yeah, like spiritually, it made sense.
And here we are, the Miami Heat with an over/under win total of 44.5. What do we think?
I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
I mean, they got worse. They lost guys and they didn't replace
Lost
them.
Gabe.
I like Jaime Jaquez, but they lost a valuable amount of shooting
Yeah.
specifically that they didn't replace. And I think everyone else in the East got better. Can they, be a playing team and win a playoff series? Absolutely. It's the Miami Heat.
Done that. Yeah.
They were a playing team last year. Like, they weren't good in the regular season last year. In my opinion, there's just no reason they shouldn't be a worse regular season team this year.
So I had one of my hot takes for the Heat. It was just basically the Heat missed the playoffs.
Wow.
Only 5 teams. This is going to sound funny. Only 5 teams failed to reach the playoffs following a finals appearance. Post Michael Jordan Bulls, post Shaq Lakers, post LeBron Heat and Cavaliers, and the post Kevin Durant Warriors, and the post Strus and Gabe Vincent Heat are going to join that. They're going to join that list. I just, like you said, they got worse and the good teams got better. That's as simple as that. And it's just like, for the playoff run, those guys really stepped up. And I think Jimmy showed that, not the necessary, I don't want to say he's holding back in the regular season, because that sounds like the wrong term, but he's saving his best for the playoffs. So if he has to now carry them to the playoffs and show up in the playoffs as he does, that's a tall task to put on him. And I think Heat fans are probably expecting a lot out of Caleb Martin because of what he did in the playoffs.
I don't know.
Just like, I don't think he can play like that for a whole season,
Yeah, so my hot take, I had a hot take too. It's the same thing as yours. I wrote it down as the Heat's luck runs out. I have them as a play-in team again, and their luck just runs out. They don't make it out the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, I'm taking the under on the Heat too. I still think they're a playoff team, but I'm definitely taking the under. I think they actually win like 42, give or take 43. But Jimmy Butler typically has missed games over the last few seasons. I expect that to continue. And then obviously losing Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, 2 of your most important rotational players, that's going to be a huge blow to them. Even though I will say one thing, the Miami Heat are the best team in the league at finding these guys that have no business being this good and then all of a sudden pop in the regular season or pop in the playoffs, and they're a better team than you expect them to be in the first place. So I'm going to take the under, though, but I'll likely be wrong because that just seems to be how the Miami Heat run shit over there. So, all right, next up, the other super team in the Eastern Conference. The Milwaukee Bucks have an over-under win total of 53.5.
It's an easy over.
Yeah.
They're going to be one of those teams that's competing to win 60 games. They'll probably win 57-ish, around there. I think the line's just too low.
I was going to say, I think if the line was at 60.5, I'd probably still take the over just because.
I agree with that.
How could you not?
They added Damian Lillard. I mean, we talked about it when they got Dame. I think this is instantly the best duo in the NBA. And we know Giannis. Giannis don't miss games. Like, Giannis is a tryhard in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like, you put Dame next to that, it's going to be scary, man.
And Chris Middleton's
It's
still
going to be
there.
scary. The defense obviously takes a hit. You lost your 2 point of attack defenders, Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen. Like,
And Javon Carter.
right, and Javon Carter, your 3 point of attack defender. So it's obviously going to take a hit. I expect Dame to be better on defense than he has been in the past. I will say that. I think just being around these great defenders is going to make him, give. Defense is an effort thing.
Right.
So I think it's going to make him give more on defense. He's not going to be able to replace fucking Drew Holiday on that end of the floor, obviously, but I mean, this is going to be the best offensive Milwaukee Bucks team we've seen in Giannis's tenure there.
It might be the best offensive team in NBA history. In offensive
It wouldn't be
efficiency, if I'm
crazy.
being entirely honest.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're gonna run a pick and roll with Dame and Giannis, and then you have Chris Middleton on the wing who gets to make a decision, either catch and shoot, drive to the rim, and kick it out to a team with a bunch of shooters,
Or turn into Michael Jordan once every 3 weeks, as he often does.
Oh my God, Chris Middleton. People need to realize just how damn good Chris Middleton is as a third option, because this motherfucker won a title as the second option on a team.
And the like closer down the stretch of games.
Like, let's
They
not
put the
forget
ball
he
in
was
his
the
hands.
primary shot creator for a team that ended up winning an NBA championship pretty much. So him as a third option is unfair. Brook Lopez, you're not asking the dude for a whole bunch. I'm looking forward to, obviously, Bobby Portis having another 6 Man of the Year season. Pat Connaughton, another good player for this team. So You need a jump out of a couple guys. You would hope that Marjon Beauchamp can make a jump of being a rotational player, because he has all the tools to be a great defender, and you need that. So you look to him to hopefully make a jump to become that rotational defender that could guard positions 1 through 4 to a high level. So obviously smash the over on the Milwaukee Bucks, though. That's not even a question.
Yeah, I'm smashing the over as well. I actually, like, as soon as the Nuggets won the championship, the first thing I did was I was like, all right, Bucks are coming back, winning the championship. And then they went and got Damian Lillard. It's just that simple. You guys have talked about Dame and Giannis on the show, and obviously to an extent. So I wanted to look more into Adrian Griffin, because, like, that can't be overlooked that you're making a head coaching change to a guy that hasn't been a head coach. He's been around the league a while,
Facts.
but from what I've read and heard about him, he's a grit and grind guy. He's gonna make you buy in on defense if you haven't already. He did help develop Jimmy Butler in Chicago, so if he can unlock a piece of Giannis's game that we didn't know existed, like it,
maybe he makes him more of a perimeter defender this season. On ball.
He was also the lead assistant under Nick Nurse when they won the championship. So this guy's been around the league forever. He's a modern style coach, so he's gonna push the ball up the floor. And with Dame and Giannis, I mean, you can run the ball up the floor, and at half court, Dame could shoot it, or Giannis could take 3 steps and dunk it. So
that pick and roll,
just nothing. Yeah, it's just nothing you could do against them offensively. I don't even care that they haven't played a game together.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly. I do think Adrian Griffin is going to help this team a bunch.
Yeah.
The offense, well, yes, you obviously want offensive principles, bro. You could rely on
make itself,
Lillard and Giannis, and they could figure it out enough. But that defense, yeah, I mean, you mentioned a bunch of teams that he's been a part of that had phenomenal defensive schemes, principles, and stuff like that. Like Nick Nurse, during that title run, was arguably the best coach in the entire league at scheming up a defense. Obviously, he had Kawhi Leonard, he had Pascal, Marc Gasol, like a bunch of great defenders. Don't get me wrong. But just the multiple different schemes he would throw out there, he was not afraid to try a bunch of things. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think this is going to be a very entertaining Milwaukee Bucks team on both ends of the floor. So,
Without a doubt.
All right. Next up, Tom, our squad. Over-under win total of 45.5.
I gotta go the over, right? I mean, they won
I know he's
47 last year. Yeah, I know he is. I'm going with the over. It's the same story as usual. It's all on Randall and RJ to just Randall to just not
Randall
make
and
me.
Brunson.
Yeah, but Randall to just not make me want to throw everything in my home at my television when I watch him play basketball. They didn't
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally the same thing with RJ. And the thing is, they just didn't do much in the offseason. They got DiVincenzo, which is a good pickup.
I actually love
that as a pickup by itself, but they're waiting. My hope is they're waiting for the superstar they want to get and
shake free,
just sending everything out.
I'm actually also going to take the over. You got rid of Obi Toppin, which is unfortunate,
right,
as a Knick fan, but what that also brings is a lot of Josh Hart running the backup four. And I think that's going to modernize at least your bench units in a way that you're playing 4 guards that could put the ball on the floor, can create their own shot to an extent, or could push the ball if they get a rebound. And I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein is another guy that is a great passer. So that second unit should be humming all around. I think the way that they used Obi Toppin obvious. It was pretty obvious that it was just the complete wrong way of using him. He shouldn't be sitting in the corner. But now that you add a guy like Dante DiVincenzo, who's a great point of attack defender and a good 3-point shooter, which you also needed, I expect us to trade Evan Fournier in a deal that you're talking about as well. If not, I hate to say it, why can't he be the 10th guy in the rotation? You need shooting. Why not just throw Evan Fournier out there for 10 to 15 minutes a game and just hope that he gets hot? And
That's
if he
what
doesn't in 5 minutes, then take his
That's
ass
what I
out.
kept saying in the playoffs. I was like, I know this guy can't guard, but like no one on the team can shoot. Like you gotta have somebody out there that can shoot. But that's just Tibbs. That's my other gripe with the Knicks. Is Tibbs is just too stuck in his ways, man.
I'm not a Tibbs guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
As a Knicks fan.
So I'm taking the under. I'll say the 144 wins, the 144 games.
It's fair.
I like what the Knicks did last year, and I was talking to my uncle about this last night. Like I said, we had a long talk about basketball, but we specifically had a long talk about Trae Young and about the Knicks. But to me, this is the first time in a long time that it feels like you guys had no real offseason drama. You guys weren't in the headlines really at all offseason.
Didn't even draft anyone.
Didn't even draft anyone.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to bode well. I think there's the least pressure that there's been in a while. Obviously, you want to get back to the playoffs, but it seems like that's almost inevitable. I think it'd take a disaster for this team not to find their way back into the playoffs. I think they have, like you guys said, they have a pretty solid foundation. Brunson was awesome last year. There's no reason he shouldn't maintain that level of play. Julius Randle was pretty good last year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to slow down. I have a hot take about the Knicks. Quentin Grimes averages 15-plus points per game and is also your third most impactful player this season because of what he brings on the defensive end of the floor.
You know, that'd be – so here's my thing. If that happens as a Knicks fan, there's no way we go under this.
No.
There's no shot we go under this.
I think you went 44
45 and a half?
Yeah, it's 45 and a half.
44 wins is still good.
It's respectable, yeah.
44 no, 44 is fair.
Respectable.
You're a
not saying it's
playoff
wrong.
team at 44
No, I
wins.
completely agree. But I'm just saying, like, with the fact that Brunson, I expect to average 24-ish. Randall, probably the same thing. And look, as much as you hate him, and we sometimes hate him, RJ Barrett is going to give you 19, 20 points.
I think Grimes being great cuts into RJ, but also helps RJ. RJ will be more efficient, taking less shots. Yeah,
17-ish, yeah.
taking less shots.
Which is fair. But he looked good in the FIBA World Cup.
But then after those guys, no one else is really
IQ.
demanding. IQ, I guess.
IQ.
But IQ is doing his stuff off the bench. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Like-
DiVincenzo should still be in double figures, I assume.
Close to it.
Or
Maybe
close
not in
to
double
it.
figures.
He'll be like a 7-point per game guy.
Yeah.
Josh Hart will probably be in double figures.
Yes. And then Mitchell
But-
Robinson will give you like a double-double. A nightly
No, it's definitely going to
double-double,
be a full team. They're a good team.
Yeah.
So I have them at 44
No,
wins.
they're a good team. And at 44 wins, that means you might not get the Bucks or the Celtics in round one, which means they could go back to round two.
I think we potentially get the 4 seed. I really do think it's in the cards.
4
for
to
us.
6.
They'll be in contention. According to how I did my rankings, it would be a Hawks-Knicks rematch in round
boy.
one next year.
We need that.
I don't want that because we probably lose again.
No, I just say like for the culture of basketball, like
culture,
basketball
the
needs
streets.
a
For the
Hawks
culture,
Knicks
yeah, for the
rematch, man.
culture, I guess. No, you know what we need? We need a Knicks-Nets series.
Nah, we'd much rather have a Knicks-Hawks series.
Low-key, yeah.
I want to see a Knicks.
I mean,
Knicks
Macau going against the Nova boys. Can you imagine he just cooks all of them?
my
He averages 40 a game for the whole
Oh my
series.
God. Bro, I'm telling you, that guy is the missing fucking piece.
Oh
That
my
guy is
God.
the missing fucking piece to this team.
I would love him.
Not
in a
only
Knicks
would it
jersey.
put on for the Nova boys, but it would also put on for the fucking New York Knicks, bro. He's exactly
He's
what
everything we need.
He's
everything
literally
we need.
to a T what
Yeah.
you need as a basketball player on the New York Knicks. Plus, the chemistry would be on a whole
Yeah.
different level.
I just want to say, I think Julius Randle is the most like Knicks player you could get, in the fact that just some nights you absolutely love him, and some nights you don't understand why he plays basketball
Yes.
for a living.
Yep.
I just love that about him.
Yes, 100%.
Oh man,
All right, so 2 overs and an under. Got it. All right, so next up, the Orlando Magic, one of the most intriguing teams coming into this season. A bunch of young
I
talent.
want to start because I have a scorching take about the Magic.
Okay, so over/under win total is 37.5. Go ahead.
Over, easy. My take is Franz Wagner makes not the All-Star game, the All NBA team, All-NBA Franz Wagner, and him and Paolo lead the Magic to the 3rd seed, where they win their first playoff series since 2010. It's scorching.
That is scorching.
So that was kind of like when I did hot takes, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have a mild one, I'm gonna have a lukewarm one, and then I'm just gonna have one that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
wow.
that's the one. Maybe not a 3 seed. 3 seed is definitely stretching it. But I don't know, bro. Franz, my idea was I thought Franz All NBA, and I was like, is that really possible? And I was like, you know what? If they threw Julius Randle on there last year, Franz could get on there if he puts up like 25 a game. Maybe not 25. 25 is a stretch, but
Paolo might be averaging 25 next season, though.
yeah.
Paolo
I love Franz. That's my boy.
Yeah.
That's my brother for life. But
That's crazy.
man, All NBA would be sick. That'd be insane. I think he's gonna be an All-Star. I didn't even put that as a hot take. I don't think that's a hot take.
No, I don't think that's a hot take either. That's why I took it to the next step.
That's why I said he's banned from breakout players, because it's pretty obvious he's going to break out. I like the Magic. I like Paolo. Paolo's, he looks like he could be a legit number 1 guy. I didn't love their draft in general.
No, yeah.
I didn't love either of their first round picks. I thought they I love Anthony Black, the prospect. That's my boy, but not there. I don't know. Unless they're planning on moving on from Markelle, then it's fine. But everyone likes Markelle. Everyone thinks Markelle is like the missing. He is a good player.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's like the missing piece for them. So I don't know why you would draft Anthony Black then. Jed Howard, he's all right. He gives you some spacing. I would have liked a more pure shooter in that pick, like a Grady.
Like a
I
dick.
completely agree.
Yeah,
like a certain dick, yeah.
Yeah.
A big dick.
Yeah.
It's tough with 37.5.
37.5.
I'm going to take the under. I think they get 37 on the dot, and they're the 10 seed.
I feel like I'm taking everyone's over, so I might as well just go all in on that.
The bottom seed in the East is going to have 35
Yeah,
wins.
that's why I took the under. I have to take some unders here.
I'm taking the over for the Orlando Magic. One of my breakout players, it was not Franz Wagner. It's another guy on that team. It's Jalen Suggs. I've been a big Jalen Suggs guy since he came out of Gonzaga a few years ago, and he was starting to put it together as the season went on last year. I'm not expecting the dude to average 20. I'm not even saying the dude averages 16, 17. I expect around 14, 15 points a game on 38% shooting and top-tier defense in the backcourt. If I could get that out of Jalen Suggs, I think this team is like fully capable of being a dangerous, legitimately dangerous. What?
3 seed.
No. Everyone's a fucking 3 seed in the Eastern Conference.
That's just what it was too. It was like, why not? Fuck it.
Everybody in the East is a 3 seed.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's gonna be. It's
Until
top
someone jumps out in front.
It's all 3 seeds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're going to hit the over, and I think Jalen Suggs has a big year. Outside of obviously the big 2 and Paolo and Franz. Crazy to say, Paolo and Franz Wagner are a big 2 now, or likely going to be a big 2. Yeah, it's fine. It happens all the time. I do the same thing when I drink water. I just ignore it. So, but yeah. So I'm taking the over for the Orlando Magic. All right. Next up, the Philadelphia 76ers. This one's interesting to me. Over under win total of 47.5. I'm taking the under. I think they win 46 games this year.
I have a hot take about the Sixers. Also, it's my last hot take. I think Harden's destined to get out of there. I don't know. I know he is committed to them right now, as far as he says.
Which is
but he
wild.
hates Daryl Morey.
Oh, bro.
He hates that guy.
It's insane to say that.
Yeah, I think he's out of there, and I think maybe not in the season, but in the offseason, Embiid just takes a nice 2-hour drive down the I-95. That man's a Knick.
Wow.
At some point, he's a Knick.
Whoa.
I don't have like the Woj guarantee or anything, but just as well, he's a Knick. That all being said, I'm taking the under. When I did it last night, I looked at my lines were slightly different, so it was 49.5, and I thought that was a pretty simple under, but
47.5 is a little tougher.
Yeah, 47.5 a little tougher, but I'm still gonna take the under. The Sixers are just like just hard to believe in for me. I don't know. I mean, I know Embiid he's a monster.
Tyrese Maxey's great.
Tyrese Maxey's terrific. They did pick up Kelly Oubre.
Yes,
Solid
and
pickup
Pat
for
Bev.
them. Yeah, real solid pickups for them. So I could definitely see them if Harden is there all season. I think that's the biggest question mark is what
Yes.
they get for Harden if he leaves, and how does that impact them winning 50-ish games.
I
You know,
still just don't think they get a
they're not
player
going to get an
capable
all-star
enough-
caliber
they're
player
not.
for
They're just not.
Harden.
What they want, they're not going to get. If they trade Harden, I think it's an under. If they don't trade Harden, I think it's a
Right.
pretty easy
Yeah,
over
yeah.
for me.
I'm taking the over regardless. They won games when Ben Simmons held out and there was no James Harden. They were winning games. From everything we know right now, James Harden is going to play with them and he's not
Right.
getting traded. And, Tyrese Maxey was on JJ's podcast. I listened to that. He said that James Harden's locked in, helping the younger guys in training camp, all that stuff. He said it's the complete opposite of what he would have expected because he dealt with this with Ben Simmons when he just didn't show up at all.
Yes.
I think Joel Embiid just is good enough on his own to win regular season games. He's a force. Not many teams have any type of answer for him on both ends of the floor. He can win games by himself.
Definitely.
Tyrese Maxey should take another step. Tobias Harris is always going to be solid as a rock.
Yep.
Like you said, they made some solid offseason additions. Pat Bev, Kelly Oubre. It's my boy.
Ubre's all right.
Cousin.
Yeah, he's cool. He'll have his games. My breakout player, my last breakout player is Jaden Springer. I think Jaden Springer, every time he's gotten on the court in preseason, whatever it is, in the G, he's looked like he could be an impactful player. I think he's just brings a lot of energy and stuff like that. And I think by breakout, I mean he's simply just going to carve himself a role on this team, which he hasn't had so far in his career. I think he's going to carve out a solid role and get some rotational minutes during the season for them.
Yeah, there's different levels to a breakout.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely different levels
Yeah.
to a breakout. But yeah, if Harden's there, as I said, if he plays, I'm definitely taking the over. But outside of that, I'm on the under. All right, next up. And down to the final two teams here. The Toronto Raptors have an over-under win total of 36.5. I'll start this one off. I took the under because my final hot take, the Raptors go full fire sale by midseason and trade OG Anunoby to the Thunder and Pascal Siakam to the Kings.
Wow, you named teams. That's
I
impressive.
did. I threw out
Pascal on
teams
the
as well.
Kings would be something.
So that was my final hot take, and I take the under for the Toronto Raptors.
I have the under too. I don't know if they're going to trade both those guys. I could see one of them getting traded, but I just don't believe in point guard Scotty Barnes. It seems like he's their only point guard.
Dennis Schroeder.
It seems like he's their only point
It
guard.
seems like he's their only point guard. Dennis Schroeder's more of a combo,
Right.
if anything. I mean, I like Scotty Barnes, the player, and I think he has above average playmaking tools for a forward.
Wing,
but
Right.
that's it, yeah. He's not a point guard. So I think they're going to struggle to play make. They already struggle shooting the ball. And you lost Fred. Obviously, he didn't shoot it that efficiently last year, but he was probably their best three-point shooter other than Gary Trent.
Yeah, but they added a dick.
Grady will be
Did
cool
it.
for them. I think
6'6",
Grady's solid, but not this year. Like
Yeah.
they have other guys they have to give minutes to until
Right.
Grady sees the rotation. Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, all those guys have to see minutes before Grady D sees
Grady
minutes.
D. Grady D. It's the kids
But
version. It's the PG
I
version.
don't know. I really just don't believe in point guard Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake. I think they're messing up with his development. I think they're asking too much from him. He's the type of guy who you just let him rock. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like in that Draymond role or whatnot.
Just a
To
more
less of an
athletic,
extent. Yeah, but like in that, you
better
know,
scoring.
you give him the ball, he could play make for you. He could get to the rim more than Draymond, but like you're not designing your whole offense around him. And I know they have Pascal and they have OG, they have other guys, but letting Fred go and not bring in really any other ball handler to replace, like Dennis Schroeder could handle it, but that's it. That's your only ball handler.
If he's
So,
your
like,
lead
you're-
playmaker,
Malachi
your
Flynn,
problem.
if you hope that he
Malachi's not really good.
Not doing it for
no,
you.
he's not good. But he drops like 70 in pro-am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't. I think they're fucking up with Scotty Barnes' growth. I think they fucked up.
I agree.
I think what happens is they got more than what they expected out of him his rookie year, and then they just kept putting more, seeing what he can handle as far as
Too much. Putting too much on his plate.
And that happens with players a lot because sometimes front offices might just get lazy or whatever it is. I went back and forth with this. I said I took the over ultimately, but it's ever so slightly. Like, what was the line at?
It was 36.5.
36, and that's what I have here. Okay. So I said either 37 games or like 34 or something like that. So I could see it going either way for sure. Pascal could also end up getting traded, and if they blow it up, they're clearly going under that. So, the Raptors just aren't
good.
They're just not that good.
Don't do
They're
it
just
for
not.
me.
Yeah, they're just not really
good.
So I was going over this. Mind you, it was like 1 a.m. And I'm just like, man, there's just a few teams here I just really don't want to talk about that much. Like, there's not much to say. What can you say? You gotta wait and see with the Raptors. That's the thing. What are they gonna do with these pieces they have and all that? So
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then the final team. Speaking of teams that I don't really want to speak about that much, the Washington Wizards over under win total of 23.5. And actually, I lied. I have one more hot take. Last season,
don't do it.
if you all recall, I made a crazy hot take that a certain somebody would average 30-plus points per game. I was wrong. I was very wrong. But
You're running it back?
I'm running that motherfucker
Oh my
back.
gosh.
And this time, I'm far more confident in said hot take. 30-plus points per game. It's a goddamn pool party in this bitch. Jordan Poole, 30-plus points per game for the
Matty
Washington.
J's just gonna pay models to go courtside to the games.
Bruh.
What's higher, his points per game or his field goal percentage?
His points per game.
32
Bro.
points per game on
It'll be
24% field goal
38
shooting.
points per game on like 34% shooting.
Bro, he's not averaging 30, bro.
Yeah.
30
30's crazy.
points per game for Jordan Poole.
He's not averaging. And I know you don't believe it because I could tell by the way you said it. Because last year when you told us about Colin Sexton, you really believed that shit.
Yeah.
You don't. You're just running this back just to
there's
run
no
it
heart in
back,
this.
and I respect it. I respect it. But you know damn well he's not averaging 30,
No, I know damn well he is averaging 30.
bro.
It's Jordan Poole. He's going to take all the shots.
Bro, they have Kuz, bro, and Corey
Yeah.
Kispert.
Don't say Corey Kispert like he's about to take mad
Corey
shots
Kispert
away.
deserves shots.
He's gonna have
Good
to.
player,
I
but
mean,
come on. He's not taking that many shots away from Jordan Poole. Kuz will. They'll be the best duo of all time. I can't wait.
honestly, all I wrote for the Wizards was under. They suck. Does Kuz get traded? That's pretty much all I have.
I don't.
Where would you like to see Kuz if
23
he
and a
doesn't?
half is
It's so
nothing.
it's just nothing. But
They're
like,
now they're gonna be the worst team in the.
yeah, exactly. But the
NBA
Pistons won
arguably.
17 games last year. Like, it happens pretty much every year.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the
So
under.
someone's gotta.
Jordan Poole putting up 30 plus, but I'm taking the under.
They're just not gonna win. They're not fun.
No, they're not. They're a
I
bad
know-
team that's not fun to watch.
Yeah, I know
think
the
they're
Jordan
fun.
Poole stands are gonna say they're fun. I'm not a Jordan
I'm
Poole
not a Jordan
stan.
Poole stan either.
I like Kuz and I like
I love
Corey
Kuz.
Kispert, like I
Yeah.
said, but Bilal should be fun to watch too. I think
Yes.
I think that was a really cool draft pick because he has unlimited potential. But yeah, I'm not gonna be.
Didn't they?
Huh?
Did they have another pick?
They probably had a second rounder, maybe.
I don't
I
remember.
don't know.
But regardless, yeah, the Wizards.
I'm not gonna be tuning into many Wizards
No.
games. No.
Ew, me neither.
No, I'm good.
Does anyone have any hot takes or breakout players that they missed out on?
I missed
I said
What's
Jordan
his name?
Poole.
my hot takes. I missed. Where the fuck is?
I'll throw my last breakout
Yeah,
player
you
out
do.
there. I
I got
completely
it, but go
forgot. Onyeka Okongwu. I feel like it's a pretty obvious one. He's been getting a lot of offseason hype. I think he either beats out Clint for that job at some point during the season, or Clint gets traded because Onyeka is just undeniably good. So
He's
that's how I-
easily more versatile. Like, even if he's
he's like Bam Light
yeah.
is how I look
Pretty
at
much.
him. So
My last breakout player was actually another Hawk, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
I like him to break out. He's just like we talked about him a little bit before as like tertiary playmaker. I just think that's a perfect role for him. His jumper looks pretty good in the preseason. He looks more confident. John Collins is out of there. Sadiq Bey is probably the starting four, but I think there's no guarantee that he doesn't come off the bench. He could be a guy that's like better off the bench in a way. So, especially if his 3-point shot shows improvement, that's just the biggest thing is that if he can't shoot threes, then Quinn Snyder just might not want to use him all that much. So if he
Fair.
can just get a decent 3-point shot going, he'll get integrated into that offense, and he could be something special.
There we go. Is that
It's
everything?
the Eastern Conference.
That
Yeah.
is
I
indeed.
think we have
Eastern
2
Conference.
TikTok segments before we go into football.
Yes.
I have one and Tom has one.
Yeah.
Do mine first quick. So
Okay.
I'm going to change the name of this. 'Cause sometimes the TikTok comments, they clown me for saying blind rank because we're not ranking anything. We're just picking. So which player would you rather have based on their stats from last season? So player A averaged 16.7 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He shot 43.4% from the field, 32.3% from 3, and 82.8 from the line. All right, that's player A. Player B averaged 16.3 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, 5.2 assists. He shot 41.6% from the field, 34.3% from 3, and 74.7% from the line.
These guys are just throwing up bricks all game, huh? Basically 16. Both are 16
Both are
inefficiently.
16, yeah.
One's better playmaking.
Yeah.
Right.
and the other
Much
one-
better playmaking.
Yeah, far better playmaking. And shoots slightly better from 3.
Right. So for that reason, I have to go play.
And worse from the free throw line. But I'm going to have to go player B because of the slight increase in 3-point.
Do you guys have any guesses on who they are?
I wouldn't even be
No.
close right
No.
now.
All right. Player A was Benedict Mathurin, and player B was Jaden Ivey.
There it is.
That's fair.
Okay.
Two of
No,
my
it's one of
boys.
those where I'm like not mad. I picked the second guy. Like,
Yeah,
I
no.
probably would have picked him anyway.
Jaden Ivey definitely is the better player at this current moment. All right, Tom, what you got?
All right. So we're blind ranking hot takes. I'm gonna obviously do like a formal intro, and all, but am I gonna call it that, or am I gonna get yelled at? by the
Blind
TikTok
rank
community?
these NBA.
No, we're actually
Yeah.
blind ranking.
All right.
We are.
Blind ranking NBA hot
Blind
takes.
rank these NBA hot takes.
Say it again when I'm not talking over you.
My bad. Blind rank these NBA hot takes.
Nice.
All right. So first off, I'm gonna start with one of the most iconic hot takes of all time, honestly. Fate of the universe on the line.
Fucking knew this was coming.
Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You better hit it. I want Iguodala. Old Maxie Kellerman.
I'm sorry, bro.
Where are we
There's
putting him?
nothing better than that.
There's
hot
nothing better
Nothing
than
better?
that one. We
take.
have
No,
to put
you
that
can
one
never
out.
be better than that hot take. That's
Okay.
one.
Next up is one from this past season. This old head that I really don't know how he has a job, Chris Russo. Like, I watched that guy, and I don't know how people could listen to him. Chris Paul is not a transcendent player. And he's not better than Kuzi.
L take.
L take.
take
Bob
for
Cousy.
sure.
4 or 5.
L take for sure.
4 or 5. What do we think?
I'm gonna put that at 4.
Okay.
I think Tom's gonna have something super like L take in here,
But like,
Okay.
okay, so like, here's the thing. Max was an L take,
but it's iconic.
but it's like
Exactly,
this
yeah.
guy's
It's
just spewing nonsense.
yeah,
this guy's like-
exactly.
Yeah, this guy's
Doing
just
nonsense
chatting
that no
shit.
one cares about.
and nobody cares about the
Yeah.
guy. So yeah,
The next one, this isn't even really a take. I just think it's something hilarious. Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen Smith.
Let me
That
start over.
weird. Wow.
Stephen A. Smith predicted the NBA Finals wrong 6 years in a row, from 2011 to 2016.
Wow.
I know the finals can go either way, but 6 years in a row, like the odds on that got to be pretty low.
Not high.
You know?
Not
know?
high. It's 50% per time.
Right.
So maybe not 50, but like,
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
obvious like who's gonna win it most of the time. I feel like.
I know it's not like a hot take, but I just thought that was funny, so I threw it in there.
That's. I feel like that's like.
I'm gonna put it at 5.
Oh yeah, 5. I was thinking 3 or 5.
I feel like
but
there's gonna be 2 in here that are actual hot
Entertainment?
takes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that are hot
Yeah, yeah.
takes.
All right.
That's just
That's
being
gotta be
wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
just being
wrong.
So the
an
next
idiot.
one-
Bad at your job.
This one I actually didn't know before until I looked up bad hot takes last night. So Bleacher Report put out an article. It was published February 14th, 2010, and they actually removed the name of the author. That's how bad the take was. The title of the article is NBA Believe It. Gerald Wallace is better than Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh my god.
I will add in he also said in the article, he or she said Gerald Wallace is taking the Bobcats to a level they've never seen before. They got swept by the Magic in the first round. Mavericks also lost in the first round.
Were they not like the worst team in NBA history shortly thereafter?
Yeah.
And then the Mavericks won the championship the next year. Oh, and Dirk was all NBA second team that year.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this one at 2.
This is 2.
Two?
That's hilarious, and it's outlandish.
Have you guys ever heard that? I've never heard that.
I
Okay.
love Gerald Wallace
Yeah.
too. Like he's a baller, but Dirk is crazy.
All right, and the last
Dirk's
one,
a top 20 player all time, bro.
the last one is one.
Top 20.
I honestly forgot about this one, but this is good old Colin Coward, who could have a list of his own.
Love Colin
in this.
Coward.
He said after game 1 of the first round playoff game of the Cavs and the Pacers, Cavs lost at home by, no, I don't know how much by, but they lost at home.
It was a 7-game series.
And Colin Coward got on the air and said, I would rather watch Ben Simmons tomorrow night than LeBron tonight. And he also said, talking about like how the NBA doesn't need LeBron as the face of the universe, the face of the league anymore.
Face of the universe.
Face of the league
He is the
anymore.
face of the
He said,
universe.
we're,
Glorious
he
King
said
Labubu
we're good,
James.
LeBron. He said, we're good, LeBron. Ben Simmons is here now. That night, LeBron dropped 46 and 12
Nice.
and single-handedly beat the Pacers.
Hey, Ben had a good playoff series that
Ben
year.
did have a good playoff series.
Then dropped 40 on Rudy Gobert that one time.
Right.
He also like sunned Jared Dudley after Jared Dudley sunned him.
He
So,
did.
So by default, that's 3.
Yeah.
So it's
I think that's
all right.
perfect.
So to recap,
that's just
it's
right.
Kellerman at 1. What was it? Russo at 2,
yeah.
No, it was Gerald Wallace at 2.
Gerald Wallace at 2. Yeah.
and then
3 was
3
that
was
one.
Coward, 4 was Stephen A. No, 4 was Chris Russo, 5 was
5 was
Stephen A.
Stephen A. just missing on finals picks.
I think that's a good list.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
That
think
is
we
a
did a good job.
Yeah.
Max Kellerman absolutely had to be 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Had
had. That's
to
why
be
I got it out of the way first because I knew you guys were going to see it coming. So I was just like, let me say that one
question,
first.
bro. No question.
The other one, I had one on here that I didn't end up putting in because I
Oh,
put
an
in the Stephen A.
honorable
one.
mention.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
is the honorable mention?
Stephen A. told DeMar DeRozan that the Raptors would have won the championship with him instead of Kawhi. Either way,
Yep,
it's pretty tough.
that's a horrifyingly bad take.
But 6 years in a row on the finals, he's like cream of the crop,
Bro,
Like
you know, it's
he's supposed to be the best of the best.
because like he does know NBA basketball.
Of course, yeah.
But it pisses me off when Stephen A talks about any other fucking sport ever cuz he doesn't know anything about it.
No,
Like when he talks football, I cringe. When he talks baseball, I definitely
Yeah.
cringe.
it's Max with boxing.
Max knows boxing.
Max is great with boxing.
Max definitely knows boxing. But Max also has like he knows,
He knows
football.
basketball and
He
football.
knows
Yeah,
football.
he just makes some crazy. things.
He just said some outlandish shit, but that's part of the job.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
you have
definitely.
to.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, all right, that's the NBA for today. We do also have some NFL stuff to cover today.
Yo, Matt, can you share your Wi-Fi with my phone?
Yes.
Thanks,
I
man.
got you. There we go. We definitely have some NFL stuff to cover. All right, so we'll start off Thursday Night Football. That was one of the most disgusting games I've
Yeah, it
watched.
was a rough one.
And you know what's crazy? It was still one of the best Thursday Night Football games I've watched as well. Because
Yeah.
that's just how bad
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football is. So it was obviously the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos. And boy, oh boy, it really was an ugly one. I'm currently getting the final score up right here.
19
Final
to
score
8.
was 19-8. I feel like this. I feel like we got to know. Was this a scoregami?
Probably
not.
not. I probably would have seen it if it was.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably not a scoregami, but regardless, disgusting game. Russell Wilson, 95 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes was doing some Patrick Mahomes things in this one. You know, the usual.
Kelsey had
But-
a game.
Yeah, Kelsey had a hell of a game, and he was supposed to be
Always does
injured.
against Broncos. but
Supposed
yeah.
to be injured coming into this one. But yeah, I mean, I really don't have that much to say on either side for this game, if I'm being entirely honest.
My biggest takeaway from this game is that the Chiefs' defense is really like that this
Yeah.
year.
So legit.
Yeah.
It's different. Like I've always been an advocate of the Chiefs' defense is underrated, but like this time they can't even be underrated. Like they're like that. They're
Yes.
top 5 defense. Chris Jones 8 straight games with a sack. I mean, Trent McDuffie's playing like he took an insane second year whip. leap. You have what's his name, Justin Reed back there in the secondary. You have my boy Willie G back
Willie
there
G.
in the
What's his last
linebackers.
name?
Bully.
Willie G.
Forget.
Legarius Sneed's awesome. No, I mean their defense is really
say it.
balling, and I know you could say it's against the Broncos, but the Broncos' offense hasn't been that terrible.
It's
I mean they
been
completely,
middle of the pack.
yeah, I mean they completely shut them out, and obviously, like you guys said, Travis Kelce's different.
Trav is so different.
The Chiefs because I've always been an advocate that the Chiefs defense is underrated for years since they won their first Super Bowl, but them having like a legit really good defense is terrifying.
Not fair.
Horrifying.
terrifying.
It's one
Patrick
of the 5 best in
Mahomes
the
is
league.
not playing like to the fullest of his capabilities.
No, and that's what
5-1.
That's what people like. Some people are like, Mahomes looks. He's Mahomes. He's gonna
Figure it out.
go on a
Looks-
he's gonna go on a 7 or 8 game streak where he's the best quarterback in football.
Yes,
like
we
said that.
exactly
Yeah.
that. Last podcast.
I think
Check
for
it out.
the Broncos side, it's the same question every week. Like, what do you do?
You're done. No, you're
Nothing.
done.
He traded everything to be
You get
terrible.
Russ.
You just ride it out. I don't know.
You gotta
Just
ride.
it out.
I mean,
Ride.
listen, Russ,
You
one way or
ride
another, they're gonna ride.
Yep. Broncos country. You ride.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much.
Broncos
to take
country,
away.
you suck.
The Jerry Judy
That's-
stuff is
that's what it is, bro.
interesting.
You trade Pat
Yeah.
Surtain to the Cowboys.
Yeah, the
Is
Jerry
what you
Judy
do.
stuff is very interesting. Steve Smith wasn't happy.
No, that's the other thing I was thinking of with Pat Surtain. Like, it's crazy how he's still young, and he's an absolute stud, and they have to trade him.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a part of your rebuild at least for the next couple of seasons, but they have to trade him.
But you
don't have
to
any
trade
assets.
everybody that's good.
Yeah, you don't have
You
you don't
have
have any
to-
assets.
You have to trade literally everybody that's good on your team at this point. Like it's getting
Yeah.
to that point. Will you? Likely not. I don't assume they will. But look, Sean Payton went on Colin Cowherd's show semi recently and said that last season obviously said that Caleb Williams was a generational talent, which we all knew, and that he's the type of player that any NFL franchise would be lucky to have. Well, you know what, Sean Payton? Do they even have their first round pick?
Yeah.
They do?
Yes.
You know what, Sean Payton? You're doing exactly that. You're tanking for Caleb Williams. You know what you're doing. I see what you're doing here. But you're going to be paying Russell Wilson the money that, you shouldn't be paying the quarterback when they're on the rookie deal. So they have to trade everybody. I think it's come down to that. Jerry Jeudy will be dealt very soon, I assume. Garrett Bowles, get this man on a winning team. He looks
my
like
God,
he's going to
yeah.
cry
Poor
after
guy.
every loss. Pat Surtain, you probably can go ahead and get a first-round pick and other stuff. So, unfortunately, you would love to keep an all-pro corner, but
Right.
you're probably not going to be able to because you're that bad.
Right.
As you said, on the Chiefs side of things, I'm going to get back to that real quick. This defense, it's not just schematically great. There's talent
There's
on
legitimate
every
talent, yeah.
single level. I just saw that the Chiefs are currently the favorites to land Frank Clark too, which while not a massive deal, it's just
Depth
their
piece.
rotation.
Yeah.
Their rotation is getting so damn good. It's just a bunch of players that they draft, and it seems like everybody they draft, they hit on.
Yeah.
Everybody they draft, they hit on. Karlaftis is turning into a hell of a player. Chris Jones is obviously, the best interior defensive lineman, if not the best, the second best behind Aaron Donald. And then your two linebackers are arguably the best linebacker duo in the entire NFL. You have safeties who are great. You have corners who are great. It's just so much talent for a Steve Spagnuolo-led defense who always makes the most of the talent that he has on defense. So the Chiefs might very well be the second best team in the NFL at the current moment, and Pat Mahomes is playing so normal at the current moment as opposed to the usual Pat Mahomes standards. So, yeah, I mean, Broncos, have fun, guys. You got to tear it down. Sorry,
It
Drew.
sucks.
Sorry, I feel so bad for Drew, man. He had hopes. And as a Giant fan, I know what that feels like this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have
Drew's
hopes.
got a little Giant fan in him too, right?
Yeah, Drew's been
he's
rooting
going through it, man. That
Drew has
poor
been rooting
bastard.
for us this year. I was big on the Broncos too, and then they just suck. So, anyways, yeah, I think
You know who doesn't suck? Us at Thrive Fantasy Picks. We don't suck. We're
we
nice.
kind of took an L last night
We did
2
take an
nights
L
ago.
on the Thursday night game, but it's okay.
because we're back.
We're back. We're back with BallGame bets.
Hell yeah.
Damn it. This is ball game bets Fuck. I'm sorry, Dean. I love you and miss you, buddy.
So I have 192.5 passing yards for my brother Justin Fields over. And I have my other brother Sam Howell 16.5 rushing yards over. Simple. Easy locks.
What do you got?
I have Josh Allen over half passing yard, but I won't put that in there.
No, wait. You have a Josh Allen half a passing yard?
How do you
score?
have
How the
that,
hell do you
Tom?
have that?
I am so glad you guys asked. I signed up for Thrive Fantasy using the code BallGamePod, and you know what they did for me, fellas?
What did they
do?
do?
You know?
What did they do?
They matched my deposit up to $250.
Wow.
That's
Unbelievable.
insane.
And that's
you get
it?
a free $250?
They also gave you a free Josh Allen square with that?
Yeah, I have
Wow.
Josh Allen half a passing yard, which can't get better than that.
Wait. So hold on. You're telling me
It's a lot to take in.
that they match your first deposit and then they give you a free square so you can make a 2-pick play, but you really only have to make a 1-pick play because you have a free square.
One pick.
So you could double the money that they match for you pretty much. You could 3.2 times it. Wow.
3.2 times that thing.
It's
Wow.
unfair.
So it's
And
free
you know
money.
And do you know how you do that? You use code BallGamePod.
Wow.
Once again, at checkout.
That's pretty sick. What'd you pair with that Josh Allen square though, Tom?
Well, I have two legs anyway, but I have I have Zay Flowers over 59.5 rushing and receiving yards.
Oof.
He had 73. He had 73
He
yards
had a
on
really
5
bad
catches.
fucking game, too. He had a horrible game.
Exactly, yeah.
And he had
be all right.
573. Should have had 150.
And then I have Ken Walker over 67.5 rushing yards against the Bengals.
Shout out K9, man.
K9.
My boy.
K9's been balling this
K9
season.
is, might I say, a dog.
He is indeed a dog. I see what you did there.
Yeah, man. That's why you got me here.
All right, all right. So my picks this week, I took over 52.5 receiving yards for Jordan Addison. Should be stepping into that Justin Jefferson role. Obviously, you can't fill it to that ability, but he's going to do his best in that case. And then my last one, crazy that the line is this low. Deebo Samuel over 37.5 receiving yards. So those are my 2 picks for this week. All right.
Shout out to Thrive.
Shout out Thrive.
And now we go straight into this. NFL Pick'em, Week 6. Here we go. Start off
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Matt, where's your restroom, dude?
all the way upstairs. I mean, you ready? So here's you have 2 options.
All right.
There's a sink in there that you can pee in because it's one of those slop sinks that people have in the basement. I'm not gonna lie, always pee in that sink downstairs. Just letting y'all know.
How do you? It's a sink.
Can you
It's a
please
sink.
use the sink? Like, don't even ask what the second option is. Just go use the sink.
It's not hard. Just run the water while you're peeing, please.
Wait, you are peeing, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't do the other thing.
Yeah,
there.
no.
You're gonna hear the water running. It's mad funny. I do that all the time. No, you did. you just.
I'll keep him entertained.
All right.
You go,
You just like.
that's crazy.
You just go on your tippy toes.
I don't think that's. I think you have to blur that. What you just did.
I did. No.
Well, you didn't literally. I'm
No,
just saying,
it
like
didn't.
the
It
action. You know, it's kind of
It
crazy.
didn't. Yeah, we got to take that out. Hope y'all enjoyed my rendition of how I pee in my sink. Anyways,
Thank
we'll
God for
start.
post editing. Huh?
We'll just no, fuck that. We're keeping that.
Yeah,
in.
keep that
there's
shit
there's
in. Fuck
nothing.
Keep
It
in.
didn't get.
We are
rated
we are
R.
raw and authentic here on the Ball Game
It didn't get
podcast.
rated R yet, yet,
Yet.
or
tuned.
rated X yet.
What
Anyways,
the fuck are we doing now?
Anyways, so we'll start talking about football. The Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans are playing in another London game. They love these early London games. So here, I just got an alert from FanDuel. You've been on FanDuel for an hour and 30 minutes. I think that they were like, we're concerned about you. So anyways, Baltimore Ravens are currently 4.5-point favorites in London against the Tennessee Titans. Tom, who are you taking in this game?
I gotta go with the Ravens. I know you're a big Ravens guy. I am too. There's just no way they repeat like the receivers repeat the performance they had last week, right?
What was it? 7 drops in one game.
7 or
That's
9 or something like
insane.
that. Yeah. Like,
Lamar Jackson was the highest graded PFF passer, and he had 7 drops. That's what I showed everybody how to do it.
He literally
In case you were
did,
wondering,
yeah.
I literally gave them a whole operation.
It was like a silhouette,
Yeah.
like a
So,
silent movie.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I'm taking the Ravens. There's no way they could repeat that
Yeah.
of 7 drops.
I'm
Against the
also
Titans secondary.
taking the Ravens. Yeah, they have to get their get back this
Yeah.
week.
All right, next up, Deshaun
Joe, I
Watson.
think actually the Ravens -3.5 is one of me and JC's best bets.
It's minus
and
4.5 now.
It was whatever the line started at, so I think we have them at 3.5. But me and JC are in first place in the pick'em pool that we're doing against the spreads.
Really?
Yeah, bro, we're
Nice.
killing it.
Wow.
We're killing it.
Y'all are body.
Shout out
users
Joe
right now.
Cruz.
Shout out
Shout
Joe
out Joe
Cruz, man.
Cruz.
We might have him on soon. All right, next up, San Francisco 49ers travel to Cleveland to face the Browns. The 49ers are 9.5-point favorites. Deshaun Watson will not be playing in this game, so it will be PJ Walker.
Massacre
Believe it or not.
is what it will be.
PJ Walker. So I'm taking the 49ers.
Have to take the Niners.
After careful deliberation, yeah, I will always. No, I didn't mean to say always, but I always will take the 49ers. for the
Yeah.
most
So like
part.
this one, we got the Niners at -4.5 because it
Wow,
opened at
that's
-4.5
crazy.
before Deshaun went out.
Wow.
It's
So
like
it's a
it's like
lot.
10.5, I think now.
Yeah,
It's 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. Oh, you
yeah.
just fucking
So it's a lot.
It's the whole
Way
point
to
of the
pay attention,
point of the
Club.
segment.
All right, next up, 2 of Chris's teams are facing off this week.
Oh, I know, bro. It's the bowl, the Chris
Washington-
Bowl.
The Chris Bowl.
Chris Bowl.
Washington Commanders traveled to Atlanta to face the Falcons, and currently, the Falcons are 2.5-point home favorites.
I'm not gonna lie, this might be the most excited I've been for an NFL game this season. I'm so excited to watch
That's
this game.
insane.
With that being said, I'm gonna take the Commanders. I think they're so due for a get back. They embarrassed themselves against the Bears. They lost a close one against the Eagles. I think they're just due to get back in the win column. I think it's going to be a tough, grinded out game. A lot of turnovers probably. But I think the Commanders and Sam Howell will do just enough to get the job done.
I'm also going to take the Commanders. Was it a fluke, Desmond Ridder? Show me. Was it a fluke? Go ahead, Tom.
3 for 3. I'm going to take the Commanders too. I don't believe in Desmond Ridder that much as a passer, and I think that's what he needs to do against the Commanders. I mean, the Falcons' run game is legit, but their defense is also really good. But I'm going to take Sam Howell's arm over Desmond Ridder's pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, next up, Carolina Panthers on the road to face the Miami Dolphins. This is probably the biggest line of the week. I'm going to safely assume. Actually, it might not be.
It's
There's
not.
another
No,
game.
there's definitely
another
there's
game.
another one.
There's another game. We'll get to that.
There's another one.
So the Dolphins are 14-point favorites at the current moment. I'm taking the Dolphins. Yeah, pretty comfortably.
I'm also going
Chris
to take
is
the
almost
Dolphins.
upset of the week.
Well, because I picked the Panthers last week to upset, and they didn't. The
Not even
Lions
close.
obliterated them.
They
Not even
demolished
close.
them.
The Panthers are just so due to just get that win when we don't expect. They're the worst team in football, but I don't think they're a 0-win team. You
No,
know what I'm saying?
They're not.
But
Like
is
they're
there one win
they're
This
gonna
is not the
in
one.
Miami?
right. Yeah, I'll take the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins.
You've been close on a lot of your upset picks, though. Like, you were right
I
about the
know.
Cardinals beating the Cowboys.
I thought the same thing against the Panthers last week because I picked the Lions in the survivor pool, and I hesitated for a while. I was gonna divert to the Texans, but I was like, it just feels like a trap game. Panthers
It
got to
would've
win
been
one.
so Lions-like. to
Exactly.
blow it. But that game showed
They're
that the
legit.
Lions are just different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, Miami Dolphins, clean sweep again. All right, Minnesota Vikings go to Chicago to face the Bears. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, this will be the first game that he misses. The Chicago Bears are 3-point home underdogs.
I'm gonna take the Bears. I think they carry that momentum from last week. No Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. I think the Bears are gonna be able to get it done.
I'm also going to take the Bears for the same reasons. They're going to carry their momentum, and the Vikings are pretty bad already. So you take away the best receiver in the league, doesn't help.
This one's tough. Like, I don't think the Vikings should be 3-point favorites. I'm going to take the Bears, and I don't feel good about that because I don't feel good that Justin Fields is just going to keep this up, even though I hope he does. But yeah, I'll take the Bears.
You never feel good about taking the Bears.
You never feel good about you never feel good about taking Justin Fields or the Bears right now. But yeah, so another clean sweep. Okay, next up, Colts face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags are at home, currently 4.5-point favorites. I think the Jags carry out the momentum, but I think Gardner Minshew and these Colts keep it close for a while. So I'm taking the Jags.
I'm also taking the Jags. I think they showed last week that they're legit and they're the team that we thought they would be. So I think they're going to carry that over and beat the Colts.
You know what? Jags are legit, but I'm going to take the Minshew revenge game.
Wow.
Minshew mania. I'm going to take the Colts.
Okay.
Divisional game. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to take the Colts.
And the Colts are better than people thought they would be this year. They're a good team. They're a good football
Their defense is exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
It definitely is. All right, next up. The New Orleans Saints face the Houston Texans. Texans are at home. It's basically a pick'em game as the Saints are 1.5-point favorites.
I'm going to go with the Texans here.
I don't even know how to feel about this game. This game gives me headaches.
I'm going to take the Texans. I think Derek Carr's still a little bit banged up.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud's obviously been historic. I think the Texans get it done.
I'm also going to take the Texans. It's hard to go against the Saints after they just, even though it is the Patriots, we talked about it, 34-0 is impressive, but Texans aren't the Patriots. I'm gonna go with my boy CJ, and I think the Texans get it done at home.
I don't think this is really all that bold, but I'm going to say CJ Stroud throws his first career NFL interception in this game.
If he's going to do it, makes sense.
I think this is the time. And I think the Saints win because I think this is the first time that we really see CJ Stroud struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I really do. Not even under pressure. It's not even under pressure. I just think this is the first time we see CJ Stroud struggle because this New Orleans secondary has been really good this year. So I'm expecting more of the same. I think the Saints do just enough to hold on and win this game. All right. Next up, Seattle Seahawks at the Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be a fun one. Devon Witherspoon, have fun with Jamar Chase, cashing checks that DK Metcalf is putting on your back. I'm taking the Bengals in this one as 2.5-point home favorites. I think Jamar has another big-time game against this team. And DK's still a little banged up with the rib injury, so I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm going to take the Seahawks here. I think it was a fluke last week. They just played the Cardinals.
Bad Cardinals team.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks are just a much different team than the Cardinals. They're in a different tier than the Cardinals. And the way the Seahawks edge players are playing, they're going to put pressure on Joe Burrow. And I don't know if Joe Burrow's healthy enough to really handle constant pressure.
He looked like he was moving a hell of a lot better, though.
But it was the Cardinals.
But yes.
He was definitely moving better, and he was definitely throwing the ball better, too, more zip. But
yes.
I don't know. I think the Seahawks defense is legit, and I think their offense is legit. I love the Seahawks. I think they're a legit team. I don't think they're going to be a pushover for the Bengals. So
agreed. I think it's a close game, but I take the Bengals.
I'm also going to take the Seahawks. Coming off the bye week, they got an extra week of rest. Like you said with Burrow, he is definitely still healing from that calf. He's not 100%, but he looks better, and I think he is going to get better as the season goes on. If this was week 12, maybe we know more what the Bengals are. Probably go with the Bengals if they get back to form, but for now, I'm going with the Seahawks.
Okay.
The biggest thing for the Bengals this week, obviously you want to win and get into the bye 3-3, but the biggest thing is going into the bye healthy.
Right.
No one re-aggravate any injuries or anything.
Because they can go on a streak if they stay healthy.
Yeah, just get into the bye
We
healthy.
said it. This is a big game for the Bengals.
Yeah. It's a huge game
They
for
need
them.
to win this game because of who they face coming out of that bye week. So this is about as must-win early in the season as it gets for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, all right. Next up, this game is disgusting. It's Bill Belichick versus Ultimate Protege and Josh McDaniels. Not excited for this game. Currently, the Raiders are 2.5-point home favorites. Crazy enough, I think this is the Ramondre Stevenson get-right game, and I think the Patriots win.
I also think Ramondre has a big day, but I think the Raiders take it. I think this is a downfall of the New England Patriots. We're watching it unfold right in front of their eyes. I think everyone on that team, their confidence is shot, including the head coach, Bill Belichick. I mean, you just suffered the two worst losses of his career. Not only is Bill Belichick hearing that, but all those players are hearing that. So, Bill Belichick's been coaching 20+ years, whatever it is. Those were the 2 worst losses of his career. You were a part of that. So I think those players' confidence is shot, and it's going to be rough for them the rest of the season.
If their confidence isn't shot, it is now. After they just heard that.
That's a Chris saying it.
He made sure. Yeah, the Patriots are bad, man. I'm going to take the Raiders. The Raiders, I don't like picking the Raiders to win a game typically, but
They're also bad.
they're also pretty bad. But yeah, I think the Raiders take it against the Patriots.
I just think Bill is going to show Josh.
Because it's McDaniel, yeah.
Going to show Josh, and that's why I think the Patriots win especially.
That's fair.
All right, next up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home to face a team that we just said is legit in the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are 3-point road favorites.
I'm actually going to take the Bucs here. I think this game comes down to health. I think the Bucs, they just got off their bye. They're going to be well rested, and the Lions are banged up to max capacity right now. I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson's obviously been out for a while now, out for the season, but now you lose Brian Branch in this game. Jameer Gibbs is obviously out again. Amon-Ra's been dealing with an injury. He missed last game, so I think the Buccaneers take this one. I know Mike Evans is also dealing with an injury, but I think the Buccaneers take this one just purely off health. And I think if anyone's going to be able to stop the Lions' run game, it's the Buccaneers.
That's fair. I don't know. I like what you said about Tampa Bay. I'm going to take the Lions just because they're coming off a big week. I think they can ride that momentum.
So Jared Goff is PFF's highest graded passer at the current moment for the entirety of the season. But Jared Goff is the greatest player of all time when he's at home.
Right.
I'm taking the Bucs in this one. I don't feel good about taking the Bucs in this one because I love this Lions team. Like, I genuinely have so much love for this fucking Lions team that I would love to see them win the Super Bowl. Like, that's how much I like this team. But I think this is a game where Tampa Bay, their strengths match what the Lions also do well. So I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this one against the Detroit Lions at home. So, next up, the Los Angeles Rams are at home against the Arizona Cardinals, and they are currently 7-point favorites. I'm taking the Rams.
I'm also taking the Rams.
Pretty comfortably going to take the Rams, yeah.
Not much to say.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, next up, another game that there might not be too much to say. The Philadelphia Eagles travel to New York to face the Jets. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think that's enough. I think the Eagles smack them around, especially because Jalen Carter will be missing this game, I think, and Darius Slay is as well, so there's a lot of injuries, but they still have arguably the best front pass rush depth. Oh, my God, I can't English. Pass rush depth in the entirety of the NFL. Obviously, the Jets just lost Elijah Vera Tucker for the entirety of the season, which sucks. The man just can't stay healthy, and he's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. With that being said, I think the Eagles absolutely dominate them in this one.
Completely agree. You said everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're, 13-0 against the Jets all time? 12-0, something?
Are they actually?
Yeah.
Never
the
lost a
Jets
game
never
to the
beat
Jets.
them.
Did not know that. That's
Streak's
insane.
not ending on Sunday, brother. Sorry.
Sorry,
Going
Zach.
with the Eagles, yeah.
Sorry, Zach. All right. This is disgusting. We talked
Embracing
about
myself.
the biggest line of the week, and we said there was one game that we were waiting on. It's this one. The New York Giants, not only are they not at home, they travel to Buffalo, one of the best home field advantages in the entire NFL. They're currently 15.5-point underdogs. And I don't think that's enough. I think they lose by so much more.
As long as it's not 40.
The Buffalo Bills.
It might be 40.
It could
might
be 40.
They
It
could
really
40-piece us. No Danny. I don't even know if Saquon's playing. I haven't cared enough to know because it's not going to make a difference.
Why put him out there?
Don't put him out there.
Play him.
Don't play him. If there's anyone that's even close to injured, don't even bother. Just go for Caleb.
That being said, I'm taking the Giants. No, I'm playing. Taking the Bills.
Yeah, it's depressing being a Giant fan. We're taking the Bills. Next up, the Chargers are at home against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are currently 1.5-point road favorites, so it's a pick 'em. I want to pick the Chargers
I do.
so bad. I do. I really want to pick the Chargers. But if you're the Cowboys and you don't come out pissed off and don't come out and dominate this game, or at least win it, your season may very well be in the balance in terms of your confidence for the remainder of it. Look, I just want to say, all the things I said about Mike McCarthy, kind of been right. They've kind of been right. The offense hasn't had to do anything so far this season, so we were saying nice things about them. And then they finally were required to do something. And granted, the 49ers are one of the best defenses we've ever seen. I feel like I could say that. Dallas looked horrific. And this Mike McCarthy-led offense, he's not good. He's outdated. And I think they are suffering from not having Kellen Moore right now. I said this in the last podcast, and I'll say that again. With all that being said, I do think the Dallas Cowboys pull this one out.
I think the Chargers are going to take this one, honestly.
I'd love to hear that.
I think coming off the bye, that shit matters. And I think the Cowboys, they need a get-back game against a bad team. Chargers aren't a bad team. I think the Chargers take it. Austin Eckler is healthy, I think.
He is. He's playing.
Yeah.
Eckler is playing.
Eckler will be starting himself in fantasy football this week.
True.
So he's back.
You know what? I'm also going to go with the Chargers. I am a lifetime Cowboys hater. I say that all the time. But the Cowboys, I do agree that they have to it doesn't matter who you're playing. You have to come out and do your best to steamroll them because just from a momentum standpoint.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think they pull it off. Like you said, they're not a bad team. That offense. If they have to go shot for shot, the Cowboys haven't proven this season that they can do that. So.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's the
NFL
NFL.
pick 'em.
All right, I have one thing before we end. So, which NFL receiver would you rather have based on their stats through week 5? So, player A has 44 receptions for 476 yards.
44 receptions.
44 receptions for 476 yards and 3 touchdowns. Player B has 25 receptions for 467 yards and also 3 touchdowns.
What were the yards? Player A had
476 to 467.
pretty.
All right. I feel like I still have to take player A because he's a chain mover, is what I get out of that. He's a goddamn chain mover. Although
Player
the
B is
second one
more
is a big play
efficient.
threat.
Player B has half the catches.
Second one is a big play
70
threat.
yards, pretty much. I'll take player B.
All right. Player A is Jamar Chase, and player B is Nico Collins.
Yeah.
I still took Jamar. I took
was
my
smart.
boy.
That
I
was smart.
got you, Jamar. I mean, to be fair, look, the depth of target for everyone on the Bengals has been shit because of the Burrow injury.
Yeah.
So we know Jamar Chase is a big play
That's
guy.
crazy though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
insane. But yeah.
Nico
right.
has half the catches.
So that is everything.
That's the end.
All right. Well, by the way, you're probably not going to want to, but in case you do, go have fun traveling to Buffalo to watch the Giants get smacked around by using our partner, SeatGeek. Use code BallGamePod for $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. SeatGeek grades each ticket on a scale of 1 to 10, with green being a good deal and red being a bad deal. You obviously want those green seats, especially to watch the Giants get smacked around. With all that being said, use code BallGamePod, as I said, once again, on your first purchase with SeatGeek at checkout for $20 off. So, yeah, have fun going to a bunch of games, guys. Okay. Well, that's all. I'm I'm actually depressed. I'm not watching that Sunday Night Football game. I don't think I
I'm gonna
plan on
start
watching.
watching it. I don't
That's
think I'll
crazy to
finish it.
say you're depressed before the game even starts.
It's pretty obvious we're going to get
Bro,
smacked
it's
around.
the Tyrod Taylor get back game.
All right, with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, watch all of those old videos, and follow us on all of our socials.